Thank you for staying tuned to Afternoon Express right here on S3. And wow, have we had a spectacular week celebrating all things seafood and all things fish. Now, from seafood platters to pasta dishes, there's no question that mussels are versatile and delicious. Today, we're making a full-flavored creamy mussel pot that is packed with garlic, lemon zest, and Clover classic dairy snack for that extra creaminess. I love it.
Girl, how do you like your mussels? Do you like them in a creamy sauce? Do you like them in a tomatoey sauce? Do you like them in wine sauce?
So this is actually a very difficult one, and I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that question because, you know, normally, naturally, I like it more in a wine-based sauce.
Yeah.
Definitely don't like tomato sauces because it's so difficult for people to get that pungent, hard acidity out of the tomato. Yeah. But I actually recently had the most beautiful, creamy, lemony, garlicky, mussel kind of pot that, you know, it won me over. So I want to learn how to make that.
Oh, is this what you were talking about? That's exactly what
I need to learn how to make that because I had that at a restaurant in Johannesburg and
girl, okay, let's not make you go out into the streets and spend your money when you can make this yourself endlini. So I've got some oil in here. I've added some butter into this. So remember when we talk about making steaks, we add the oil and then the butter because you want it to high heat. The only difference we are doing it now is because we want the enriched flavor of the butter. It's not necessarily because of a cooking technique in this instance. It's just about the flavor. Now our butter is melting up nicely in there, and to give those flavors, one of the flavors you mentioned was garlic. But as we always do whenever we're cooking, we want to make sure that the elements in the dish also cook well and they complement the rest of the dish. So I'm frying my onions. As we always know, it is important to get them to that point where they're nice and translucent before you add the rest of the flavors.
So we're not really looking for golden brown, more translucent.
Nice and translucent because you just want them to be cooked through. And I know my girl, Bali, she's a heat girl. So if you were going to add any chilies now, you could add dry chili flakes. You can add them at this step as well. So into this, I'm going with something you mentioned, garlic.
Garlic, yeah.
Definitely best time to add them as well now. And now normally what would happen is you'd want to give this some time, add your mussels into this mixture, seal it up and let them steam in this mixture. But because I want to show everyone exactly how to do this right, let's assume that we've added these in already and they've steamed up and we've taken them out. We do the rest of the steps here. This is something you can...
Okay, I'm tracking very slowly. No, I got it. It makes complete sense. So right now, we're kind of just fast-forwarding from that steaming point that would have had our mussels in the pot, kind of braising, steaming in the flavor. They would have opened up. Now you've already almost fished them out of the pot. You've set them aside. Now we're dealing with the remainder of what...
Correct.
Okay.
Someone is paying attention.
Oh, you almost lost me there, but I'm back.
Perfect. And now we're getting to actually making the sauce. Now, you could definitely skip the step that I spoke about earlier, Balisa, about cooking them separately and then adding them, and do what I'm doing now if maybe you're pressed for time, or if you just want something quick and you want to just enjoy your mussels now, you don't want to take forever. Now we're adding the sauce.
So you would have just left the mussels inside
as is. Just added them raw.
Okay.
Right, so into this pot, what I've done is I've added my cream, because we spoke about a cream-based sauce, but I'm also going to be adding our Clover classic dairy snack. And I love the fact that if you find that this is too big for you and you want to keep it small so you don't waste, you can definitely buy the small 100-gram options. And luckily for us, it's got those 10 vitamins that it's enriched with. So it also will be somewhat of a guilty pleasure. And I'm adding quite a bit of this because I also want that zingy, tangy flavor.
Got you.
We just let this mellow out a bit and let those flavors come together. And Palesa, like I said, if this was a time that you also like to add your heat, you could also add some fresh chilies into this.
Yeah, you can basically layer up the flavors as you go, depending on how you like your mussels or how you like your seafood. Predominantly, this is the step where you need to add those flavors because it is, I suppose, very essential and very key to have that base flavor, that courier, which is our cream, which is our Clover classic dairy snack, in there first to be able to kind of be a vehicle for the flavors.
Correct. So now that we've done that, our sauce is cooking away nicely, and as you can see, it's not boiling, it's just simmering. Now we're going to add our mussels into this. Normally, I'd want to close it because you want the steam to actually happen. But I want to show everyone, I'm going to drop them into this. And as they cook, not only do they absorb the flavor from the actual sauce we're making, but they steam up and cook as well. So you're getting double the flavor, I believe, in this instance, because you're getting them cooked. The only problem I would have with this step, which I also do not advise, is once if you cook them and you find that there are a few that aren't open, that means you'll be losing out on that. But it's not really a big deal because they're not opening up. There's nothing coming into there. But otherwise,
so essentially, you've shown us 2 ways of cooking these mussels. Number 1 is if you were to have just had that sautéed mixture, steaming them in there, wait until they get cooked, open up, then you fish them out. Or alternatively, if time is definitely not on your side, do what Dumi did. Leave them out for as long as possible, build that creamy sauce first, and then add the raw mussels for them to open up. So either way, you know, it's the same way to get home, different routes to get home.
Exactly. And then one important thing, do not add your herbs at the beginning because they'll cook out and you won't get that flavor. I like to add them right before you serve up your dish, and just basically the last 2 minutes to allow the flavors to be pungent enough in your dish. And that's what I believe you should be tasting, Bali, when you go into that. You'll be able to taste the and the other...
This has opened up quite nicely. And do you know what I like to do? I like to use the other shell as a spoon.
She's my girl.
I use it as a spoon.
What I would do.
So just do that, and then let us have a taste of this.
There she goes. While Palisa's eating, guys, you can definitely get this recipe on afternooneXpress.co.za and make sure you get yourself these delicious mussels.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.